Lifeboats Planko Carneades is a game that I saw being demoed at Gen Con 2024, and it seemed just fun and it looked nice with a lot of little pirate peoples, and so I decided to pick it up pretty much on the spur of the moment. I didn't know at the time that it was the remake of an older game simply called Lifeboats. I just learned about it when I looked for the game Lifeboats on Board Game Geek. From what I see, they seem very similar, but I haven't played the original game, so I will not be able to compare. What it is nice about it is that it plays up to 7 players, so we've had a lot of new people joining my game night group, and that's awesome. So nice to have games for also larger groups. And in this game we are pirates, we're on these lifeboats and we're trying to bring our pirates to the islands. Each player has 2 captains and they are represented by these taller pieces here. So we have the orange and the blue captain here, and then a number of regular pirates, and that number changes with the number of players. The more players you have, the fewer pirates, regular pirates in play. You will have these boats. Again, the number depends on the number of players. Also, there will be a black boat that is always in play, is not associated with any specific color, well, other than black, I guess. And we're gonna have a deck of cards, and we're gonna make hands at the beginning of the game. This is a voting game. Most of the things that you do in the game will be based on voting. So you're gonna have 2 captain cards. We'll see what they do. Plus a card for each player. Suppose we are playing with 7 players, so I will have a card for each of the 7 colors. 3, 4, 7 plus the black. A card for black ship, again, that is always in play. So if I'm playing with 7 players, I have this hand of cards, and so does everybody else. The idea is that during the game, when I'm voting for something, I place a card there, and simply the card that I selected indicates what I'm voting for. I'm voting for orange. I'm voting for green. I'm voting for captain. No, not really. It's playing the captain card during a vote is a special action. It simply means you're going to win that vote if you're the only player playing captain. If not, all the captain cards cancel each other, which is annoying. Also, the captain cards are one-time use. You have 2. Once they're gone, they're gone. If there are ties and a single captain is not overruling the ties, then it's simply the first player decides. And the first player marker, of course, goes around the table. Players will alternate, taking turns being the first player. Sequence of a turn. At the beginning of each turn, there will be a leak or 2 happening. And we're going to vote. So, simply put, players will decide. You have a timer to indicate how long the discussion can continue. And then when everybody's ready, then we vote. Suppose that most of us voted for green. Now, let's say for orange, because it's closer, green is farther. For orange, then we simply place a leak there if there is an empty spot. Suppose the next turn we vote for orange again, so orange is going to get another leak. What happens if there is no room to place a leak? Then the players that are on the boat only, in this case would be red, purple, and blue, decide pretty much which player is going to have one of their pieces replaced by a leak. So they only vote, but their votes are not equal. For each captain that you have, that counts as 2. Each pair counts as 1. So right now, purple has a vote that's worth 3, red worth 3, and light blue or blue has 1. You vote the player with the most votes. Suppose that purple and blue ganged up against red. The player that has received the most votes is the one that needs to replace one of their pieces with a leak. There you go. And if we have to place 2 leaks, because that happens if a boat moves particularly fast in a previous turn, if a boat takes 2 leaks, then you still have a single vote, and the 2 most voted boats get the leak. So if in a turn you need to assign 2 leaks, the 2 most voted boats get the leaks. After we add a leak or 2, we need to vote to see which one boat will move. Talking, discussing, all that, and suppose at the end we decide that the purple boat moves. And then we do that. We move the boat by 1 spot. If the vote tells us that a boat with at least 1 leak moves, then that boat moves by 2 spaces instead of just 1. And that would be the case if that boat moves or that boat is voted to move. Because I guess fear is a great motivator, and so if you have a leak, you're gonna row a lot faster than otherwise. A couple other things: if a boat ever has more leaks than the game figures on it, then it sinks, it disappears down into the ocean. Then phase 3, when the pirates panicking will decide if they wanna change boats. Starting for the first player, let's pretend it is purple. Then the players will take a piece from one of their boats and place it right behind it for now. And suppose the next is yellow, and suppose that after that is gray, and suppose after that is red, and so on and so forth. So now you just place it behind that. You must place a player behind the boat. You must place a piece behind the boat if you can, which means if the boat doesn't already have somebody hanging from the back. Basically, each boat can only have 1 piece leaving or considering leaving each turn. So, for example, suppose that now is the turn of green to move out of the boat, and suppose that every boat that green is on already has a piece behind them, green cannot leave. After in turn order, everybody has tried to place a game piece behind a boat. Then in reverse turn order, the pieces that are in the water will need to change location. So I seem to remember this is the last one that I moved, so now this is the first to go, and you can go here, for example. And this one maybe decides to go there, and you need to go in an empty spot, of course. And maybe then reverse turn order, which one was it first? Suppose that this one was the second, so it goes second to last. And if this one was the first, it goes last. It's entirely possible that a player won't be able to go, that a game piece won't be able to go back on a boat. Suppose, for example, that these are the pieces that we play. Suppose these are the only 3 things in play. And now green goes first and goes here, blue goes first and goes there. And again, suppose that they're all full, otherwise then red cannot meet the condition of going back to a different boat. If the only one that you could go back to is your own, bloop, 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 bloop. You're lost at sea. Seems like a lot, but it flows pretty well. Vote to decide which boat or boats get a leak. Vote to decide in case the boat is full. Vote to decide who's thrown out of the boat to make room for the leak. Vote to decide which boat moves. Everybody tries to move one of their pieces to another boat if they can. And after that, that's it. You pass the